Okay, we're back, and let's open this mold up. It's really set up quite well. So let's see if I can get this off this table. Like I said, CA does not stick well to styrene. It really doesn't, but it did anyway, amazingly. I mean, it doesn't usually do that. Okay, well, as you can see, we didn't get any leakage. We did not fill up the inside. It doesn't stick well to resin, that's for sure, because I'm getting this off very easily. It's always exciting opening the molds. And my keys are all in place still. So that's good. I thought one of them had moved. What happened is silicone got underneath it, but that's not a problem. But they're all there. So that's really excellent. And this is just so messy looking. I need to clean up. But I keep moving out of frame, don't I? What I want to do is get this clay out, which should just plop right out of there. And you can see it. Okay, there's the intake right there, nice and flush. All these are nice and flush, and I need to cut away some material that kind of leaked in there, but it didn't leak in very far, so we're really in good shape. This mold is quite excellent. I thought we might have a little trouble and have some repair work to do today, but you see how easily that clay comes out of there? Okay. We just got here. I couldn't wait to open this. I do see a leak right here. Interesting one. Oh no, it's not. No, it's fine. No, no, no. No, 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 no. I'm the boss. There, gone. So that came out very well. What we want to do is remove this outer edge here, this thing here. We don't need this anymore. That can go bye-bye. And there we have a nice mold. We zoom back so you can see the whole mold, and then I'm going to go have my tea because I just got in and I could not wait to open this. It's like Christmas. So there we go. Nice mold, away from all the other garbage so you can see how clean it came out. It really is quite nice. It's everything I need. It's pretty hardy. We are going to remove that though and tidy up the mold in Vaseline for safety, the entire inside of it, because we want to make sure that we don't get any leakage. This pretty much fits back in the mold exactly, so we should be fine. So I got my messy clothes on, so let's clean this mess up. And well, first, before I clean the mess up, I need to turn around my 4K monitor so it's facing me and I can make sure I'm staying in frame so you can see what I'm doing. As soon as I adjust this light, there we go. Hopefully it's not in camera. No, it's not. So what I want to do is get this out of the mold. And you can see I'm flexing it and I'm flexing it. And we're going to pop it right out of there. It's like that. Pull it out completely. There we are. You know, dogs are funny. You got a nice warm blanket to lay on over here. Instead, she goes on the cold floor. One little dingus down here I don't like, hanging over where we had some leakage. That's gone. Front end looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, so looking inside this mold, and I'm going to zoom in, you can see all the detail. It's all there. The panel lines, everything. And of course it's real flexible. And the bubbles are up here. You don't really see them. They're underneath the surface, the very surface. Now, because I put that splash coat on that was fully evacuated, I don't have a lot to deal with, thankfully. Anyway, so now what I'm going to do is take this and put it back in the mold. So I'm just going to use regular old petroleum jelly, which is a great mold release. Silicone does not like to stick to it at all. I'm just going to kind of wish it around all in there, everywhere. I'm going to need it on top too. Open up these, because anything, like I can't say it enough, if you don't silicone, put your mold release on the silicone, it will stick to itself and will not come apart, period. You have to slice it apart. So just to be sure that I don't have any leaks behind the master car body into here, I'm going to grease it up, literally. And also helps the master slip back in pretty well. And you think, oh God, you're going to get all that oozy, Vaseline on the master and the inside of the mold, and how's that going to work? Well, the nice thing about petroleum jelly is it cleans out with alcohol. Now, part you've all been waiting for with bated breath. Oh, I still have some overflow here. Need to get rid of. We won't get that again. Silicone will stick if it finds something like that's porous, and it can root down into the pores of the resin. A little bit of that here, not much. Now I don't need to mold release. Yeah, this clay will also smear out very well with Vaseline. Vaseline it'll act like a putty almost and fill in cracks and things, so it's pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to put this back in the mold. And it should really just slip, boom, right on in there. And okay, so wow, was that ever successful? It's right up to the edge, goes back perfectly in every way. That is a really tight fit. I'll go closer. And right to the edge. Look at that. Right there. So we are good to go and do our core. So I'm going to put a little styrene wall around this. Packing tape works really well because it sticks well. There we go. You don't want to distort this at all, so I got to be careful with that. So what I'm going to do, that's about the right height. I can pull it up though. To get this to fit more to the edge, I'm going to take some water-based clay. There's that water-based clay again. You can get it from art supply stores. It's used for, and what I use is EM210, which is for layup and not for sculpting so much, but it's for laying up mold halves. I use it for. If I'm doing a right and a left half mold, I use that stuff. So we just want to make sure we're not distorting, and we're not. Now, just to make darn sure I don't have anything leak down between the halves, I'm going to put a little bit more Vaseline and kind of fill up the little crack that's in there with the Vaseline. And then it can't leak, and then you're not distorting the mold either. So I'm just working this down in the cracks. It will just sit there, and it'll prevent any leakage down the sides. So this is pretty uneventful. I put the silicone in the pressure pot, which I showed you yesterday. If you're checking in on this for the first time, you haven't seen part one, you need to go back and see that. This is the silicone of choice I like to use. This is 1065. I get it from Berman Studios. And I have molds that I used to make my big 6-foot long scratch-built TOS Enterprise, TOS meaning the original series, almost 12 years ago, and the rubber's still good, which is why I like to use it. I use the blue, which is a slower cure, for the for setting the material up, because the faster a material goes off, the less, well, when you accelerate a material to set up rapidly, it also causes it to have a little less tensile strength. You'll notice that, in other words, it'll get brittle over time and degrade. Whereas if it sets up slower, it's the same. You know, it will last longer. And if you use like CA, use accelerator, the glue is not as strong as it is without it. So if you can let the CA go off slowly, this stuff here, cyanoacrylate. I always assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about, but I realize that sometimes people will be tuning in for the first time and not know. What the hell is CA? Oh, what the heck is CA? So anyway, this has been silicone RTV room temperature curing silicones are 2 parts. And in the case of this one, if you mix 100 grams, you add 10 grams of the, because I didn't cover this yesterday, of this, not that way, this way, which is the blue, which is the kicker. And they have a slower one than this, but this is the one I like to use. And so it's 10 grams of this to 100 grams. So, you know, 10 to 1. And you mix it and you get the air bubbles out of it, which I did on this. So now we're going to pour it into the mold. Another thing you can do to collapse air bubbles is pour a very thin stream like that. Because what happens is the air bubbles, they collapse going through the thin stream. Now you see these these two toothpicks sticking up, I placed in here for a very good reason, and that is so that there is a vent coming from the mounting posts for putting the screws in to hold your frame and the body, so that air doesn't get trapped in there when I put resin. Now I know I'm going to be in the evacuate. I'm going to be using the pressure pot, which should crush all those. But in the event that it doesn't, it will make it easier for it to escape being in there. So that's why I put those there. And I might carve into the core, cut out with a X-Acto blade, a hobby knife. I will cut in some vents on the side of it, so they kind of, it can come up around this and escape. So now hopefully this core got up into the undercut. I'm sure it did. Near the nose of this car. Now this is going to be a nice, thick, really nice and thick top of the core, you know, good thickness, and that really helps because it's less floppy and it'll register better on top. And that's it. I'm going to take the camera off again and show you up close how this all looks, and that will sit until tomorrow. So there you are. That's part 2 of making this mold and making the core. And there are many ways to do this, but this is the way I chose to do it. That was pretty simple and direct to get what I need, which is a mold that will consistently produce a body that's evenly hollow with mounting posts, so that you can build a slot car of the T51 Cooper. Anyway, more on this tomorrow, but what I'm going to do next today, and I might include it in this video. Should I? I should. I'm going to make a tire barrier mold out of plaster. That's coming up next.